very briefly about turning off the projector.
Killing the projector.
Oh, maybe.
Projector exploits.
There we go, yes. Talk about reconstructing reconnaissance. So everybody's like, oh no, hackers are probing our networks, they're finding reconnaissance, and then they eventually breach us. What do we do now? Well, we can look for one stage of the attack. Now granted, this isn't going to cover everything, but it's a start. So you have some evil hacker, and maybe he's probing your external web interface. What are they looking for? Email addresses, right? Maybe very important people inside the organization, maybe administrators so they can jump to executives. Maybe they're looking for personal information so they can target people effectively. Maybe they're looking for technical documents. Oh, how can I craft this phishing email to look legitimate, like it's coming from this company so I can send it to a partner, right? Or basic security issues. Oh, they're running a vulnerable version of Apache and whatnot. So what can you infer from this type of activity? Well, location, right? You have GeoIP, pretty simple, not entirely accurate, but you've got it. You can infer sometimes the software that they're using, right? Is it a specifically crafted program? Is it a web browser? Is it wget? Is it curl? Maybe their motivation. If they're looking for email addresses and very specific key business terms, maybe it's a precursor to a targeted attack, right? Maybe it's a precursor to phishing. And their level of sophistication. So kind of judging off location, software, and potentially motivation, you can say, well, this is probably more sophisticated than this other guy that I detected a week ago who just ran a Google scraper who scraped everything from me. So what type of information can a web browser leak? I'm sure some of you have heard of the Panoptic from EFF. It's pretty cool. You go to the website and it says, hey, congratulations, your browser is uniquely printable to 1 out of 3 million or something ridiculous like that. Nice, but you don't have that in your environment. You're not going to get bad guys to click on it. So what can you do? You can look at the refer header. Where did they come from? If one's not there, then chances are they didn't come from anywhere. Potentially a good indicator of a scrape. You can look at Google Analytic cookies if you're running them within your organization. Sometimes the fun exercise is look at outbound Google Analytic cookies and see what your users are searching for. You can look at the user agent. Oh, look, it's Firefox, right? Or it's Mozilla, or it's wget, or it's curl. You can look at the request structure. What are the orders of the HTTP headers? Oh, wait a second, that doesn't look like Firefox, but they're telling me it's Firefox. Maybe they wrote something custom and they're faking user agent versions. And you can look at plugin information. Always possible to fake all of this information. People rarely do in the reconnaissance phase because they feel fairly certain nobody's looking for it. So one of the things you can look at in the refer is search engines. Guess what? There's a lot of them. Right? It'll tell you sometimes the language that the web browser is using. You can infer the language that the person speaks. If they're using a language-specific version of Google or something like that, or something like Yandex. How many people in here use Yandex? Exactly, right? And current results set. Are they on the 100th page of Google results? Does anybody go that far? No. Probably automated. You can look at cookies. Google Analytics cookies are awesome, right? You can get campaigns, so if someone has a specific email campaign, that'll show up. You can look at the source, whether it's email or organic, came from the search engine. You can look at the medium, you can look at the content, and more importantly, you can look at the keywords. What searches did they put in the beginning of their web browsing session that eventually got them to you? So maybe if you see something with partner information in it, hey, wait a second, they went there and now they're looking at me. Huh. Talked a little bit about web browsers, right? User agent, you can again infer the language of the system, the request structure of plugins, additional system information. Some of them will even leak screen resolution, plugin data, that kind of stuff. So you can really get kind of this precog minority report style and go, hey, I know this is going to happen before it even happens. So there's a couple of brief examples. The top refer, google.com.hk, right? So native language refer, probably maybe speaks English, maybe as a second language. They're, on the 10th, for the first page, number 10, right? And they're looking for some string marketing reports. Maybe it's interesting, maybe it's not. The second one is a little bit more interesting. They're actually looking for business, and it contains Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail.com, but doesn't include the phrase spam or scam. Guess what? Email harvesting. On the bottom, you've got this other kind of full request, and just kind of by looking at it initially, I would say, yeah, that probably is Firefox. But look, the language that it prefers are Romanian. Okay, so now we know maybe a Romanian native language speaker. And then at the bottom, you can see they're searching for Excel file types with the terms sales or marketing, or contact list, or email, right? An all-American campaign seems very, very specific. And when you begin to see things like file type, or in URL, or in header, wow, they're really, really looking for something that really, that I should care about. So that's reconstructing in a nutshell, and then at the end I've got just a couple results if you guys really want to dissect Google cookies.